excellent for the Niners last year when he came over mid-season. He will kick it off. Brock Bowers has his helmet on. Again, we will see most of the starters here tonight. If it's a few snaps, if it's a couple series, that we'll find out. But we expect to see these guys. Arrow has us underway. Devin Tompkins into the end zone. Down to a knee. Remember the third year of this new kick. It is Mike Washington pounding over a defender, carrying the open.
Washington finishes, right? Watch how he finishes. He keeps those pads square, and boom, sometimes you got to BYOB, be your own blocker.
I'm liking how that offensive line's finishing too, taking some guys to the ground.
Well, part of that offensive line in front of Washington, Jackson Powers Johnson. He is in there at right guard. Remember, he was dinged up before the Texans practice week, did not play. Washington again. Look at the block for the fullback Hayward to get him the first down. Well, this is an indication of the last couple of weeks what we will see this year. They've been in a lot of I formations with Connor Hayward here in the preseason.
The fullback position is alive, Rich. You play with a fullback.
I love it. John Ritchie in the house tonight as well with the alumni weekend. But, you know, look, we know Mike Washington can run the ball, but can he handle the passing game? And I think that's what we want to see a little bit tonight, you know, in terms of protection, in terms of responsibilities, and his ability to get out of the backfield and make some catches.
That is Brock Bowers at the top of your screen. He is split out wide. It is Bowers, and it is broken up. That is the aforementioned Jack Jones. And we saw it here over the course of a season and a half.
He's all over it.
8 career interceptions for Jones. He's got 4 touchdowns in what is now his 5th season out of ASU. Cousins back to the air. Good protection. Back to Bowers. And he is wrapped up. Tatum Bethune, 3rd year out of Florida State, one of the backup linebackers. It'll be 3rd down.
Really enjoyed our visit with Kirk Cousins yesterday and him talking about the tight end position. He feels really comfortable with that group. And, you know, even his comfort level with Trey Tucker and Jalen Naylor. And I think he's trying to develop that rapport with some of those other young receivers. And I think every rep that he can get with some of those young receivers is critically important to their ability to trust how those guys are going to respond week 1.
Well, and for Brock Bowers, you know, you just assume that is target number 1, and then from there you figure it out. Cousins came off the initial hit. He found Jalen Naylor. It's a first down. Between Bethune and the corner, Jacob Robinson, they move the chains.
It's a nice job on the protection. Remember, Mike Washington, his first opportunity in this protection involved early on.
Kirk, I could throw from that pocket. That's a clean pocket. That's a good-looking job by the group up front.
Back in that old school I formation, toss play. Got 2 blockers out in front for Washington, and he gets into the secondary, brought down by Stroman. There is a flag down right around the line where Washington was taken down after an 8-yard run. Second, Rich, almost 15 yards fewer than the 31st place team. There's Trey Tucker. And he picks up all of that penalty yardage and more. It'll be 2nd down and 4 coming up. Trey Tucker, Kirk Cousins couldn't say enough great things about Tucker. He said, you know, in my 14 years in the NFL, had a lot of speed guys. Most of them want to do one thing. Trey Tucker's a different story.
What possible? He's got what I would refer to as rare and unusual speed at the wide receiver position.
And he lines up all over the place. Played slot receiver in college at Cincinnati. He's in the backfield off that motion. And they throw it to Tucker. He's got 1 man to beat. Gets the sideline, first down. He left the rookie Jaden Duggar in his dust, picked up 8 yards.
Well, let's take a look at the keys for success offensively this season for the Raiders. I thought about, guys, how about some
offensive line coach, experienced Super Bowl, been in the NFL for more than 3 decades. There've been, you know, we've had a chance to talk to a variety of the offensive linemen over the last 3-4 weeks. They have credited with his energy that he still brings all this time in the league.
30 years of NFL coaching experience. He was brought in to restore order along that offensive line, and if he works his magic like he normally does, this might be one of the most improved units in all of football.
And that unit right there, Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, and Glaze at right tackle. They've been working with the ones the entire camp. Been a battle at right guard. Jackson Powers Johnson and Caleb Rogers. Tonight's JPJ in his 3rd year out of Oregon. He gets the 9. 2nd down and 6 on a lengthy opening drive. Washington spun his way right into a tackle. Jalen Graham, 4th year out of Purdue, was the one who spun him backwards, and it'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Jason. Look, that's just 10 plays on this drive, and a lot of it is about Rico Dennison right there. We call him Rico.
It's been around some good ones.
Now, 11th play of the drive. Kirk Cousins in his only drive in the preseason, game 1. 10-play drive. They scored a touchdown. This is already 5.5 minutes. Dylan Laube trying to push the pile. He's not going to get the first down. They ran it on 3rd down and 4. Pushed backwards. Are you going for this here?
Well, they ran it on 3rd and 4, knowing they were going to go for it on 4th down. I mean, that's what you have with a really good play caller. And of course, they kicked the field goal. You run it in that situation because if you get 4th and a yard, you go for it. But they've got a long 2 or 3.
Yep.
That wasn't very good.
Well, remember, there is position battles everywhere. Matt Gay has been in a battle throughout the camp with Kansei Matsuzawa, although it seems that Gay has performed in games certainly top-notch. Made from 52 last week. The veteran this time from 37, out of the hold of A.J. Cole. And Kirk Cousins leads the Raiders on a scoring drive. Jordan Watkins back deep. He will bring this out for the 49ers. They had a punt return touchdown last week, and he is blasted. Patrick Johnson continues to make plays to try and make this roster, both defensively and on special teams.
Yeah, he made a nice little move there. I was
not going to see Brock Purdy. Not going to see most of the starters. Kalen Black, the starting running back, 3rd-round pick out of Indiana. It's Fernando Mendoza's teammate. Mac Jones chased down Kwity Paye. Got him on a couple of yards. Mac Jones known for a lot of things the last couple of years, running, not one of them.
It's been a slow process early on. He didn't make many plays to begin, but once the installs were done, you saw Trayton Stoops takes his play to another level.
He is so versatile. They have loved his ability to try and get that ball. Nobody home. Kalen Black was looking one way. Mac Jones threw it the other way, and just like that,
Play a few more reps together in week 3.
Here they come with a blitz. Mac Jones, deep shot to Watkins. Not there. Taron Johnson, like Velcro on the 2nd-year receiver out of Ole Miss, and it's a 3-and-out.
Yeah, go ahead, put the seatbelt on. That guy was strapped up. That's a nice job by Taron Johnson, stand in the hip. There was nowhere to go with that football. Mac Jones, honestly.
Corliss Waitman in his 4th year in the league, kicking away to Malik Benson. Seen a lot of Devin Tompkins on returns. This year, the rookie out of Oregon. And he is lit up immediately downfield for the Niners. Kadarrell Hodge, longtime special team great. Game day in the record book. Week 1, Raiders will host the Dolphins here at Allegiant Stadium. Washington bounces that outside. He rumbles for 14 more, and he has put on his ability all preseason to make some big plays.
Well, that's one of his best plays. It's a
33-yarder against the Texans, a 53-yarder against the Cardinals. He breaks another tackle and gets 5 or 6 here. Already so far in this ball game for Mike Washington, 6 carries for 33 yards. But more importantly, for this offensive line, Clint Kubiak said, hey, I need these guys to gel. And they've had that battle at right guard. Caleb Rogers is in on this series after JPG started the game. And they are putting it on the Niners here. This was the throw. Tucker gets a block from Colton Miller. Nobody saw the gentleman coming from behind. Obo Okoronkwo. Well, Kirk Cousins, first drive 4 of 5, 35, resulted in a field goal, 15th year. And as we were talking to him,
Coach Kirk Cousins seems to get a head coaching job. Clint Kubiak's the next one up.
Michael Mayer went in motion, breaks a tackle, and just can't keep his feet, but he's got a first down. But Rich, to that point, right? Your career at Minnesota, you finished strong here with the Raiders, an MVP late in your career and leading the team to the Super Bowl. That's something else Kirk Cousins told us yesterday. Look, Atlanta didn't go the way he thought it was. It didn't go well. But people remember how you finish.
Yeah, I think what a luxury for a head coach and an organization to have an air traffic controller. You know, a guy that's been around a lot of different coaches and systems of football. I love that he takes ownership. You know, he's in that meeting yesterday. He wants control in the huddle at the line of scrimmage. I think it's very helpful that he did spend 3 years together with Clint Kubiak in Minnesota.
Pocket holds. Mike Washington cannot hold on. Jalen Graham was out there to hit him right as that ball got to his fingers.
Opportunity to play with the ones, and I think he'll start the season for the Raiders.
To the ground, huge hole for Washington. Carries a defender for 11 yards. Ashton Davis, the veteran safety, was slow to get up for the Niners, and now he hobbles back to his feet.
But it allowed
great sense for the running game. He's just a very natural runner that bobs and weaves with great ease.
Trying to set up the tight end screen to Michael Mayer, and great play. Darrell Luter Jr. He played a lot last year, got a ton of first-team looks, 3 starts for the Niners, and that's a great open field tackle.
It's always difficult for a left tackle like Colt Miller. He's got to wait behind that line of scrimmage.
Their starters here, the reality for the 49ers, they were not good last year in the secondary. 25th against the pass. Remember, they only had 20 sacks, dead last in the league by a wide margin. Cousins finds Jack Besh. He sat down, picks up about 5 or 6. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Rich, you keep talking about this pocket. I mean, Kirk Cousins back there fanning himself. The way this offensive line has been blocking so far to start this game.
Well, he's a guy that can get really hot. And if you give him a clean pocket and there's not a lot of push up inside, he can sit in there and pick you apart. Very accurate thrower of the football. When you look at his numbers over the years, he's a 67% completion guy, and he's thrown for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. He's coming up on 300 career passing touchdowns. That should get done early this season.
He had 30 touchdowns 3 times in his career. 35 was his career high in 2020 with the Vikings. On 3rd down, that is a tough throw and great coverage. Saran Neal one-on.
This is man coverage.
Matt Gay last week hit from 52. This from 53. Cole puts it down, and he is still perfect here in the preseason.
You know what I mean? I'm an old LBs.
I played with a lot of intense guys, but Bill Romanowski might top the list. He was I hated playing against him when he was in San Francisco, Philly, and Denver, but I loved him as a teammate.
You know, he made me drink a protein shake.
Sure he did.
This morning, or was that like after breakfast?
During breakfast.
Keem Sloan made that tackle, and so, you know, 2 of the guys, Kirk, that we were going to highlight on the defense, the younger guys trying to make the
preseason. He's trying to make this roster tonight.
Niners opening drive with Mac Jones. They had 3 plays. They got 2 yards. Raiders first team defense out here for a second series. That's a big gap to the outside that is closed. Kalen Black, such a violent runner. Nakobe Dean.
% of their opportunities on 3rd down.
To the ground. It is a 1st down for San Francisco. Now, and again, the personnel is just so different, particularly up front. Now, we were not seeing Max Crosby tonight. He's the only expected Raiders starter defensively who is not playing tonight, and we have not seen him all preseason. But that being said, and Max will join us later on the broadcast, you asked Clint Kubiak who shined more than you expected, and that's the guy he points to.
Yeah, he's a one-man wrecking crew. I mean, he can really ruin a game plan by himself. What the Raiders need is they need more players that play with that intensity and that confidence and that swagger that we see from Max each week. And I think we talked a lot about it, guys, creating negative plays, sacks and forced fumbles, and taking the ball away in the secondary interceptions. They need to get their hands on more balls to be a better defense in 2026.
And there's a reason why they added 2 former Georgia Bulldogs. That confidence, that swagger, Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker.
Mac Jones with play action. He's got all day to throw. And a brilliant job by Eric Stokes. Stayed with Jordan Watkins all the way across. They have the rookie Dejon Stribling. Hasn't played yet tonight. Raiders come with a blitz. Mac Jones off his back foot. No one home. Will Pauling, the intended receiver, the rookie out of Notre Dame. Benson Field, the first punt. This time it's Dylan Laube. Scored a touchdown last week as the running back in that comeback against the Texans. He waves for the late fair catch, and he makes it at the 15-yard line. A 42-yard punt. All the set to throw on his first snap. He's hit. What a grab by Naylor! Mendoza was drilled as he threw it. It was way behind the free agent signing from the Vikings, and he
back up, pat you on the back, and said, keep it coming all game long.
I was rewatching yesterday the national championship game. He was bloodied, he was battered, and he led him to a national championship anyway. Over the middle, through the hands of Naylor, and intercepted. Tatum the third off of the pinball. And he's finally brought down by his former Niner teammate Spencer Burford. Naylor couldn't handle it. It's a 16-yard return the other direction.
All right, now if I'm coaching the quarterback, I say maybe this is too tight a window, and it would have taken a perfect throw and coming out of your own end zone. This is one that I think you got to look somewhere else. You just want
backers in game 3, get deeper in your throw and your depth.
Force him to throw the ball.
Force him to throw the ball.
Now, quick change here, and Adrian Martinez in at quarterback. And it's a toss play to Fernando's former college teammate, And Kalen Black, who rushed for 15 yards all the way in. Martinez and a 1st and goal. And a false start for the Niners. Out of Indiana. He had that 14-yard run right before the end of the first quarter. He is violent. He is powerful. He's a 210-pound back, and he's short, kind of built like Ashton Jeanty, and he has it again. And he got a couple of yards out of that, down to the 10. She'll come in to break things up. A couple of the Niners offensive linemen. Enrique Cruz Jr. was there with Trevin Ma'ai. Now Adrian Martinez, 47 starts between Nebraska and Kansas State, was undrafted free agent last year. Last couple of years back and forth, Niners and the Jets somewhere in between. Was the MVP of the UFL in 2024. He throws it short. Watkins in between 3 Raiders. Isaiah Polamau, the first hit. Tommy Eichenberg cleaned it up, and it's 3rd and goal.
They had a nice job of conversion by
this second unit. Martinez to the air, to the corner, and is broken up. Isaiah Polamau stepped in front of the tight end, Braden Willis, and it's 4th down. This is like John Weeks in the hold of Corliss Wakeman. It is booted right through. And so the Mendoza interception lead.
Change of pace back, but you want to get on the field a lot in the regular season, you got to be very proficient in the passing game at the running back position.
Kevin Tompkins on the return with Roman Henby leading the way, and he takes it out past the 30 into the arms of Jalen Graham. And so Fernando Mendoza, and we're getting accustomed to that, right? Those jump squats in the air as he takes the field. He didn't watch him at Indiana. He didn't.
This year in the Big Ten.
Dylan Laube in at tailback. Instead, it's a direct handoff to Devin Tompkins, trying to string it outside, and he cannot get there. Jacob Robinson, he set the edge and laid the line, and the 2nd-year corner out of BYU with the stop.
Yeah, nice job by Robinson, because basically he...
Natural grass here at Allegiant Stadium that is sticking out the top of his helmet. Natural grass, certainly a conversation here in the offseason. Mendoza back to the air, tough throw. Benson can't bring it in. Darrell Luter, who's had some really good coverage here in this opening half for San Francisco, was right there. It's 3rd and 10.
That's something that we expected for Fernando. We saw that a lot at Indiana, the back shoulder throw. So cornerbacks.
Robert Saleh, who's now one of the 10 new coaches in the NFL. He's with Tennessee. Pressure on Mendoza, down he goes. Pressure came through. Keon White, the former Patriot, gets the sack, and the Raiders go 3 and out.
Yeah, there's just miscommunication up front. When you got these twists and stunts, you've got to make.
So Jordan Watkins back deep to receive the punt from A.J. Cole. That punt comes right to him where he was standing. He gets around one defender and into the Raiders bench. Patrick Gerd, the backup fullback on the tackle.
Be a great head coach for the Raiders, but man, what a lineup.
To the ground, Tommy Eichenberg standing his ground. Jordan James about a yard or 2 shy. J.J. Pegues in on the tackle as well. You know, we started this broadcast, guys, by talking it will come Sunday. The final preseason games tonight, tomorrow, and then for 4 teams on Saturday. But these are the guys we're talking about who are trying to fill those final 4, 5, 6 roster spots, both on the offensive and the defensive side of the field. Adrian Martinez took over for Mac Jones. He hands it off to Jordan James again. Cody Lindenberg, first man through. Patrick Johnson. He is there again. We are getting a whole lot of 93 here in this preseason.
Yeah, there's just the penetration by this defensive front of the Raiders. You want to talk about building.
His career with the Eagles, had a year with the Giants, and then back to Philly last year. Laube calls for the fair catch with Jacob Robinson right in his face. It's 43 on the punt.
Answer.
Raiders come out running. Dare Agumbawale gets the carry, and he is ridden down to the turf after a pickup of 6. C.J. West in on the stop.
And Wale is one of those guys, a veteran in this league, plays special teams. I believe he also kicked a field goal before, right, in the league. So he can do a lot on special teams, but right now he may be thrust into a much bigger role at the running back position early on.
You know, you and I did the entire radio season last year. We'll have your number 2 this year. You know that is definitely not right. That is a false start. you know that I pride myself on prep on all guys. I do not have that written down. I'm going to guess that you just taught me right tackle and center. Right? It's more usually guard and center.
Yeah, you're looking for position versatility, and certainly he has that.
Back on the ground to Wale, who's tripped up on the outside. Solid open field tackle. Saran Neal has played a solid first half here for the Niners.
We always talk about the more you can do. We're just talking about contributions in the kicking game, and of course, you know, if you're an offensive lineman, you're trying to earn a job here with the Raiders.
3rd down and 5. Jack Besh is on the field. Bottom of the screen. Mendoza has good protection. Laube. Oh, he got through a pair of defenders. That was not going to be a first down. And he picked up 12 yards after he had a pair of Niners whiff.
That's how you do it. You squeak through. It's his own.
You know, he's a guy who made the roster 2 years in a row on special teams. Mendoza sacked from behind. Oh, Mo Okoronkwo. That is a loss of 9. But, you know, back to Dylan Laube. He's a guy who made this team for 2 years because of special teams.
Correct.
It feels like if preseason's an indication, he will have a role on the offense this year. Kind of looks like maybe that 3rd down back for the Raiders.
I think that it's protection. And right now they trust him in that protection role. And it just goes to show how much and how important Ashton Jeanty is to this offense, by the way.
Mendoza trying to set up the screen, and he dumps it at the feet. Alfred Collins was first man through, and then he started tracking down for the running back.
You know, we talk about the importance of that 3rd down back.
One more time.
RCE,
okay.
Recognition, communication, and execution.
See, I take notes, Rich.
Right. 3rd down and 19. They hand it off to Laube. Collins on the tackle. So the Raiders will have to punt. The offense tonight with the starters, Kirk Cousins, over 100 yards on a couple of drives, a couple of field goals. 3 drives at this point for Fernando Mendoza has been a different story.
Yeah, and I think what I'm seeing too is this second group of offensive linemen have not really helped out Fernando. He's been under duress. He's been sacked a couple times. He just doesn't seem comfortable, especially after that interception.
Yeah, Charles Grant just got beat around the edge on 2nd down. That didn't help. That's a good looking punt.
It is. We've come accustomed to that as Watkins backpedals to the 11. He gets around the first defender. And he is brought down by Cameron McGrone at the 16. It is a 64-yard punt. Just
I always love his line. Are you willing to go longer and harder than your opponent? And that's what we need from these offensive linemen.
And around the reverse to Jordan Watkins, who gets a block, and he's got 15 yards. Jermon McCoy tackled him up high. And Matt Jones wanted a penalty on that. It's 1st down.
A little bit of gamesmanship here. Remember
about Clint telling us Clay's asking a lot of questions. What are you guys going to do? How many fronts you're going to play? What kind of runs you're going to have?
Trying to get bragging rights for Thanksgiving, Rich.
Set up the screen to Jordan James. He's got 2 blockers in front. They set that up beautifully. And Jordan James inside Raiders territory for 20 yards. Jordan James fractured his ribs the 2nd day of training camp. He just returned this week into what has become kind of a crowded backfield. They've had a lot of injuries in their running back group.
A year ago, he was on the roster. They trade him to New Orleans, so they've got a bunch of backs all trying to find a way to get on the field.
Now, you mentioned the former Raiders. Here's Sincere McCormick, who is upended by Massis. That is a pickup of 6 yards. Sincere McCormick, undrafted free agent 2022. He was hurt right when he got to the Raiders. Never really got a chance to play in 2022. Had that 2 really good games for the Raiders. But he is with San Francisco trying to make their roster here in 2026. An Adrian Martinez game probably the rest of the way. Back to the ground. James cuts it outside, and he is met in the hole. Kean Sloan and Trayton Stukes came up to make the stop as well. And it's 3rd down.
officials timeout for a virtual measurement.
All right, we haven't had this yet here in our 2 preseason games. It's that Hawkeye technology.
I say short.
Do you want to give us the... All right, 3rd and inches here for Adrian Martinez.
3rd and short defense.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know that he got there.
No, he didn't. I'm watching the official up top. He's short.
That is Folo Fatukasi holding on to the shoulders. He popped last week, too, with a couple of plays behind the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Fatukasi and also Jonah.
A foot and a half. Martinez on the rollout. Kean slow, can't get his hand on it. It's a 1st down. Hayden Rucci, the tight end, that was just over the outstretched arms of the rookie Slow, and it's 10 yards and a 4th down conversion.
I think the only coaching point here.
Knew his assignment. To the ground on 1st down. That's a big hole. And James gets away from Stooks for an extra 5 yards. It is 1st and goal after a 17-yard gash play.
A lot of movement for this 49ers offensive line. A lot going into the backfield. Watch all.
Run is going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Rob Leonard's defense started the 4th quarter inside its own 10-yard line. They're heading towards the... On 1st and goal and met in the hole. Jordan James driven back. It'll be 2nd down and a timeout taken by Clint Kubiak. Raiders take their timeout.
Las Vegas.
They've got 2 left. And, you know, we got to get back to those winning ways.
No question. I think it's really the continuity and consistency with the head coach and quarterback. I mean, I think there's been way too much turnover with respect to those 2 positions.
The pressure by Pegues. And he got his hands on it. And so now it is 3rd and goal coming up here.
Oh, Rich, I go back to what you're talking about. Being there in the Coliseum, 2003, the last time the Raiders won a playoff game. That with Clint Kubiak.
That play of the drive. Martinez certainly can scramble. He's got a long way to go, and he got a lot farther than it looked like. Eichenberg chased him out of bounds.
Well, if you just
picked up about 7.
If you just look at the division, you've got Sean Payton and Bo Nix. You've got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You got here at that position. That's what's really held back this organization the last decade.
Pinheiro good from 24. He is now good from 25. And the game
Single year for alumni weekend.
Devin Tompkins nowhere to go. Got away from one. And he is just tripped up from behind. Making the tackle of Frisian's Prysock on a 26-yard return. And, you know, we're talking alumni and all of that. Battle cancer. 1:31 to go here before halftime. Dylan Laube starts it off with a run, and he picks it out to the 34. He's got 6. Raiders do have a pair of timeouts left if they can move down the field with 80 seconds before halftime.
What are you saying in Fernando Mendoza's head right now, Rich?
Well, there's got to be some tempo. They're getting in the huddle now. I just want to see him make good decisions. I want to see him be in control. This is a great opportunity to execute a 2-minute drive and come away with some points before the half. No sacks in this situation. There you go.
Brody and Thomas is close to the 1st down. A near side official came in and said he has the 1st down, so they will move the chains. I think you got to have a little bit more urgency. You do have the 2 timeouts.
Good throw.
Brandon Johnson went low to make the catch, and then Clint Kubiak does take his 2nd timeout.
You know, the one thing that's been impressive with Fernando
Las Vegas.
Mendoza is,
This
you know, you watch the
30-second timeout.
You watch the preseason games. He's done a good job working through his progressions. He doesn't get stuck. If a guy's not open, he gets to the 2nd, he gets to the 3rd. Don't typically see that with a lot of young quarterbacks.
Game
it takes.
clock operator, please set the game clock to 35 seconds, please.
I would say I want to see him work on that ending, because I feel like he goes through the progressions, and once he's finished, it's like, okay, what do I do now? And then that's where he either gets the sack, he gets hit. I want to see him learn how to throw the ball away. Yeah, that time clock. Throw the ball away. Don't throw it late in the down. We saw he got an interception on that last week versus the Texans. So to me, I think it's also the end part of it.
It's been determined that the runner did make the line to
kick a field goal and going into halftime with a lead.
Now Matt Gay's career long is 58, so you're only about 12 yards away from that. Empty set here for Mendoza. Down the sideline, Benson brought it in, but he's out of bounds and a flag. Neal in on coverage. Benson was not in bounds, but it's going to be looking at the ball. There's a lot of the Niners fans in attendance. You hear those boos. Mendoza comes back to Ian Thomas. It's a short gain. He is driven back by Jaden Duggar, rookie out of Louisiana, who last year was a tackling machine. Raiders not taking that last time out yet with 13 seconds.
They waste a lot of time.
You got to get that play off quickly. Back to Thomas. He dropped it. Now we'll stop the clock with 5 seconds left.
That's what you learn. Wasted about 15 seconds there.
Gay is hit from 37. He has knocked one in from 53. This from 45. And he is responsible for all 9 Raiders points here in the first half. Brings us to the locker room. 9.
Done. They've been able to have a true game plan, and I just see a much improved defense from the beginning of training camp to where they are now, finishing up the preseason.
Khalil Herbert, a couple of yards out of the end zone. Keelan Sloan in on the special teams tackle. Buddy Johnson over there as well. Those first half stats are brought to you, by the way, hard. Those two guys, 10 carries for 57 yards. Martinez with some pressure, goes the other way to Dinkins, the backup tight end, and he's tripped up by Bree Vance. Remember, Vance had 10 tackles
right.
In the opener against Arizona.
He's not afraid to come up and put a hit on you. And that's what you have to do on the outside. It's one-on-one, you and the wide receiver or the tight end, and he's not afraid to go make some contact, force it to a minimal gain.
Martinez back to the air. It's the sideline. It's incomplete. Jermont McCoy in on the coverage. Daryl Hodge, the intended receiver.
You know, the one thing that's really clear to see is we talked about game playing a little bit for this week. The Raiders have done a really good job defending the boots and the nakeds against the 49ers. The 49ers are one of the better teams in the league with the stretch and the boots off it. You watch the secondary, the linebackers, the communication's been great. They do a great job. All 3 levels in the deep corner. They've done a really good job defending play action.
Got some third down, little double mugs in there. I like this.
Those mugs are Lindenberg and Shegu Alubi. They backed out of there. Martinez with pressure from behind. And he's sacked from behind. The pocket eventually collapsed. It's the rookie, Kieron Crawford. Last week he had a huge run stop. That time it's a loss of 3.
And he's only got one speed, and that's just go fast all the time. He's a physical player. Comes out of Auburn, was at Arkansas State.
Scoring drives to start. They had a big-time pass plays from Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett. Benson is in trouble, and he's dropped at the 11-yard line. But it's been a different story, right? The last 5-6 quarters of football for the Raiders defense. McCoy, Massis.
You're seeing guys play much faster.
Yeah, they're anticipating, and you're not out there thinking so much. You're reacting to what you see, and that's the sign of a good defense.
Now, Trey Zune, who played center in the second quarter for the Raiders, he is now over at right tackle, with Jordan Meredith taking the snaps. Mendoza looking for the release, and he put it too high for Ian Thomas. Mendoza 5 of 9 in the first half, 38 yards. He had that interception on his second pass of the game. If you're just joining us, Kirk Cousins got the start, went 8 of 11. Umbawale picking his way out across the 20. The offensive line trying to drive. He's about a yard shy. And that gets into an all season long question here, Rich. When you have the #1 pick in the NFL draft, yes, Clint Kubiak has said, hey, I want all my guys competing. He has not come out and said, hey, this is my starter.
After practice with some of the young guys, that's the challenge, because as you guys know, once the regular season starts, the focus shifts to the starters. And we got to get Kirk Cousins, you know, majority of the reps, but at some point, you know, we're going to see a change, and I think the Raiders understand the importance of a solid infrastructure around a young quarterback, and so many of the moves this offseason were with supporting Mendoza in mind, and Remember, it's not just whether the young quarterback is ready to play, but whether the team is ready and good enough around the young quarterback. I think patience is key. It's going to take some time for Mendoza to reach his ceiling.
Toss play to Agumbawale. He is met and driven to the turf. Ashton Davis. Raiders picked up that first down for the hometown. American First Credit Union will be donating $100 to a local charity for every Raiders first down inside Allegiant Stadium this season. And that conversation, which, look, it's a natural one to have, right? Because 2018 Baker Mayfield, that is the last time a first overall pick quarterback did not start week 1. And all signs are pointing to that happening this year. So that conversation of when does he play, you know, it'll be dictated obviously by how the season goes.
Yeah, it could be week to week. I mean, it's just it's the nature of our business.
Now he stays on his feet and he picks up nearly the first down. That looked like it was disastrous, and instead it's a 7-yard scramble.
Is that the circle button or the B button when you're playing the Madden football game? That's a nice little spin move by
downs each week. I think that's really important at that position.
Right, he just ran for a first down. He got low, QB sneak right through the middle, picks up 2.
If he's not getting the reps in practice, we're going to give him a test every Saturday morning to make sure he's keeping up with the game plans. You got to find creative ways. You got to find creative ways to get him.
Clark, Fernando, Kirk Cousins. That's a good room Coach Sullivan
and he's
has on.
sandwiched between 2 veteran quarterbacks. I think Aiden O'Connell could be a real asset in his growth and development as a young quarterback. That's why I think they'll keep 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah. That's a big question mark, right? Will the Raiders keep 3 quarterbacks because of what Aiden O'Connell showed us last week in the preseason game against Texans? Goes 96 yards, leads the team to a victory, and he doesn't get those guys who've got some big reps in big games.
Back to the ground to Agumbawale. Got about 2 or 3.
Well, I said this last week that, you know, Aiden O'Connell in his 4th season, he's had 4 different head coaches and 6 different play callers. That's insane. It's not the way you want to develop any young quarterback, but he's been through a lot. He's a pretty resilient guy, and I think he can be a real asset in that quarterback room. I think he's got command of the offense. I think his real strength is from the neck up, as Coach Kubiak told us, and he's been working with Fernando Mendoza, and he's been willing to help the young quarterback, and that's how you get better, when you have a quarterback room where the guys enjoy one another's company and set their egos aside to work together to find wins.
Trying to pick up 3rd down. He goes to his college teammate Roman Hemby. He and Kalen Black were the battering duo for Indiana last year. Black's on the 49ers sideline. Hemby's first action, and he picks up the first down.
That was a nice job there by Hemby, making a play and then getting vertical for the extra yards.
Roman Hemby, his time at Maryland, last year at Indiana, over 4,500 yards from scrimmage, and he has the carry. And he is drilled. Jalen Graham came up to make the stop. Tatum Bethune, who had the interception in the first quarter, is the one who forced him back inside. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Well, as they were walking off and Clint Kubiak put on the headset right before halftime, he said, "I want to run the football." And I believe this team is trying to run the football here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, most coaches, really, I think both coaches in this game will try and get out of here. You know, getting the last preseason game, the last thing you want to do is see somebody get hurt.
Mendoza dumps it to Hemby again. Bounces off of one defender. Has the first down. It's 14 yards.
I love his knowledge of the zone right there. When I say knowledge of the zone,
to the linebackers, you want to throw him open. You want to throw it to his left shoulder so he'll turn to his left.
Another tackle for Jaden Duggar, the rookie out of Louisiana, who now has 8 in the ball game. And these are important reps too. You know, it's not so much position based when you talk about the last 5 to 8 guys on the roster. And
we're 1 play away from going in.
Mendoza rolled out right into a heavy pressure.
Number 80 was an eligible receiver in the area. 3rd down.
Now, they did say that there was a receiver in the area, but it'll be 3rd down and 5.
And that just comes with experiencing the linebacker come from depth.
Raiders are 6 of 10 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 5. Trying to keep the play alive downfield, and he throws it away. In the ball game, this from 54. And And it's no good. Now the Niners, it is 9-6. After Matt Gay's miss from 54, Martinez with Jafari Harvey giving chase. That is a beautiful ball. Jordan Watkins all the way across the field, the second-year pro out of Ole Miss. Martinez all the way got his body turned around and it floated it perfectly.
Yeah, they had a couple of different levels to this route too.
Not that hard.
Back to the ground at Jordan James. Cameron McGrone through the hole to make a tackle after a gain of 1. That's how I feel like a lot of people at home on a weekly basis screaming at their TVs. What's so hard about 21? Been a lot more on the special teams, and another
so these centers not
snap
snapping
penalty.
the ball.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh man, sleep at the wheel. It's hard enough to make first downs, but when you're constantly going backwards, and I know a lot of plays on my play call sheet for 2nd and 14. That's the problem.
Well, John Hussey's had some practice calling that. Watkins on the quick throw. There's McGrone again. So last week we saw a lot of Shegu Alubi making some plays on defense. He's been known for special teams. Same for McGrone. It's 3rd and 12.
So the one thing that you'll notice when a lot of these guys who are on the field now, to me, these are guys who are primarily special teams players, and they're Houston.
They back out of the blitz. They come with 4. Martinez to Watkins again. Beautiful touch just over the outstretched arms of the corner, Devin Perkins. 45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Raiders had a more than 7-minute, 15-play drive. Came up without points. Fly sweep to Watkins. Raiders stretch it out. Dalton Johnson, the 5th-round pick. You know, the Niners have this plethora of wide receivers. We talked about it earlier. No team's keeping 8 wide receivers. Looking at some of those 6th, 7th, 8th guys for the Niners, being like, hey, do they fit for our roster?
Well, that's just one position. I mean, I think every organization's got scouts, advanced scouts looking at both these teams, because, you know, you can't keep them all. That's the challenge. But everybody's looking for ways, creative ways to improve the roster this week.
Jordan James has the first down. Greedy Vance again on the tackle. It is 1st and goal, San Francisco, as we tick inside of 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, this is where I've seen the Raiders defense today stand tall. They force field goals inside in the red zone here. So this is where guys have to find a way not only to bow their neck, but more importantly, I've loved the coverage down here. It's been very sticky coverage. We saw in preseason game number 1, guys having to finish. This is where man-to-man on the outside is paramount.
Martinez has the tight end, Hayden Rucci, in as a fullback. To the air, he's got Rucci, reaches for the goal line, touchdown San Francisco. Now there is a flag down that was in the backfield, so we will see if this touchdown for San Francisco stands. And now you got another penalty coming up.
Pre-snap penalties. Jeez, oh man.
It's about to be the 7th penalty on the 49.
Rich, especially from the cornerbacks and safeties.
Patrick Johnson and Keiron Crawford, those 2 guys coming heavy. They get it out on a quick throw, and Dalton Johnson, there's the tackle you were talking about. Nowhere to go for Kadero Hodge. And now it's 2nd and goal from the 30.
You know what's great to see? You just can't see it from, you just watch.
Watch the clinic time, and there's the reason why right there. A solid tackle in the open field.
Dalton Johnson, the pick used by the Raiders when they sent Tyree Wilson to New Orleans. Over the middle, batted up in the air, and it was behind Greedy Vance off the deflection. It was Shegu Alubi in on cover 1. They get it off. Raiders come with 4. Martinez escapes the pocket, left it short, incomplete. Cameron McGrone in on the coverage on Rucci.
Of all of them.
The 48-yard kick from Eddie Pinheiro, and that is good. So we are once again tied at.
And hard work well beyond how fast you can run or how far you can throw it. But I'm intrigued and proud of the way that these guys have worked and joined our culture, and they're the right kind of person, and we've stressed that from the start.
Speaking of the right kind of person, I just Absolutely love the quarterback. Just your thoughts, John, on what you've seen from
You never get the opportunity to be with the front office when they see that. Obviously, you'll find out what that means later. But what is the first thought when you see something like that?
Well, you hope it's he's going to be okay. And you know, I have a lot of empathy for these guys. It's one of the worst parts of this job when you see a cart come out there, you see a cart go into the locker room, and you know, we try to have positive vibe and wish them the best. But it's a reality of our profession, and there's going to be injuries, and it's an opportunity for somebody else to step.
Fourth quarter, 9-9 game as Aiden O'Connell comes out throwing to Albert Okue-Bunam, and they are near the first down with the third and short. No, they're giving him the first down. As we have started the fourth quarter, Jason Horowitz, Rich Gannon, Kirk Morrison, and our special guest, John Spike.
Look, John, I know we haven't seen Max Crosby in a preseason game, but what we've seen from him at practice throughout training camp, to me, he's on a mission this season. What have you seen from Max and obviously the offseason that he's had?
I've seen the tireless worker that I've come to know over my first 18 months on this job. He wasn't always out there on the grass with us in the OTA part of the schedule, but he's really thrown himself into the teammates. He's trying to lead. He's trying to show guys what it takes to be a great player at this level, and I've been impressed with just him embracing team first mentality and really rooting his teammates on through this preseason.
Max, the only of the defensive starters who did not play tonight, and as Kirk mentioned, has not taken a preseason snap. Derek Young
into the roster in a unique way, and we got to be ready to take advantage of it.
Can you even walk us through what the next 2 or 3 days are like for you and for the coaching staff and the scouts? I mean, endless conversations about possibilities and, you know, trades, and this is a fun time of the year, but also critical. It's not necessarily how you start. Remember what happened last year, guys. The Raiders went on the road. You guys were there week 1. They beat the Patriots.
Yep. Geno Smith threw for 360
and everybody
yards.
thought, geez, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. This is awesome. And the Patriots, they're going to run Mike Vrabel out of town in year 1. Well, they make it to the Super Bowl. They win 14 games. I'm just telling you, you know, it's all about building. It's all about getting better each week. This is going to be a work in progress, the silver and black. But I'm excited about the leadership that we have in Clint Kubiak and John Spytek. And I think this organization is heading in the right direction.
J.J. Pegues throws Sincere McCormick backwards, picked up maybe a yard.
You just really feel, at least I do anyway, that there's a real plan in place this year, right? In terms of the development of the young quarterback, the selection of the young quarterback, the ability to go out and get a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins who can kind of hold the fort down until we get our young quarterback ready to roll. Some of the changes that we've made defensively. You know, I'm excited. I mean, I think, you know, the promotion of Rob Leonard, I think he's going to do a great job calling the plays on defense. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, though. It's a tough schedule. I mean, you look at the first 5 games, Miami, you got to go on the road to Los Angeles, New Orleans. Right. You get the Chiefs, and then you got the Patriots. I mean, it's not easy.
And remember, you know, New Orleans, people look at the schedule when they're trying to find Raiders wins. Like, hey, say, they won, what, 5 of their final 6 games last year, 6 of their final 7 games.
And they got a young quarterback that they're excited about in Tyler
Well, he's not young.
Look,
not young.
Well,
he's in his second year player.
He's young in the league.
None of these guys are young anymore when they come out of college.
That's true.
And now some of them aren't young when they go back to college after getting cut from a roster.
It's a different world. It's the wild, wild west when you look at college football nowadays.
Now 3rd down and 12. The Niners just 1 of 9 on 3rd down. Raiders coming with a blitz. Martinez to Rucci. Sloan can't make the tackle. And it's a 1st down.
That's always a difficult one.
Last year, hand on the ground. How much of that type of stuff did he do?
Yeah, but that's the versatility, and that's what this defense is really all about.
As Herbert breaks it to the outside, it's got 9.
There's guys who can do more. So Kean Sloan is a outside linebacker slash.
Back to Herbert. The Niners are now up to 226 yards of offense, about 115, 116 on the ground. Kyle Shanahan heading into year 10. You know, the offense last year still humming 12-5 on the season, but running the football was not one of their strengths, right? Top 5 in passing. They were top 10 in scoring. But 24th in the league running the football, and you don't think of that when you have Christian McCaffrey, right? But they struggled to run between the tackles.
A lot of injuries. That's been the problem with our friends from the Bay Area, the 49ers. They've had, you look at their, the offseason report about the power lines and everything else. I mean, the soft tissue injuries that they've had, the quarterbacks miss starts, and they're going to win a lot of football games.
And remember, George Kittle tore his Achilles in the playoffs.
Interesting to see whether he's ready to go week 1.
Martinez drilled as he throws, almost picked off. Beyond the arms of Watkins, almost picked off by Devin.
Extraction, getting the ball on the ground and creating some more negative plays.
Martinez on 3rd down, way over the head of Hodge. Again, it's Perkins in coverage.
Showing right now.
Pinheiro has been outstanding in his career from 50+. This is from 58, and it is good. He drilled that. Who is joining us here now on the broadcast, Jason Horowitz, Rich Gannon.
Being able to support the guys and watch them fly around, we're doing some good things right now.
Max, it's been a very, very interesting offseason for you. You had the knee surgery, the whole Baltimore fiasco, and of course, you're back in silver black to the delight of all of us. But where's your mind at? I've been asked by a lot of
in real in my life that I come back better than ever, and I know I'm in a great place mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and the whole 9, and I'm just ready to come out here and help us win football games. That's why I work so hard. That's why I come out here and try to lead by example every single day. And it's not about, obviously X's and O's and all those things are important, but ultimately, you know this, Rich, winning football comes down to who wants it more, and that style of play is everything that we're trying to instill right now, and we're getting better every single day, so it's really exciting to see.
Max, Kirk Cousins joined us yesterday in a pre-broadcast conversation that you've been a part of 100 times in your career. but he said this.
Each other, and I know, for myself, I pride myself on leading from the front and being the guy that's going to set the tone every day. And so, there's going to be times where you get into it, and there's going to be times where you're going back and forth with teammates, and ultimately we're all in this to leaders. And for me, I want to be the guy that sets the tone every single day, and just see how guys respond.
This is a 3rd and 5, and they're going to blow it dead. A timeout taken. Glenn Kubiak got in the official's ear.
Miami, it's about being where your feet are at and being present, and I think he's doing an incredible job of pushing that message.
This is a 3rd and 5 here for Aiden O'Connell, and it's dropped. That was in a tight coverage. Cedric Jackson had his hands on it. So we may be looking at a tie once again.
I know.
My football mind is something when it comes to memory that I feel like I excel at. So yeah, no, it's awesome, man.
As well, Alex Ward. So I love the battery of the field goal unit.
Angle kick to the 5. Khalil Herbert coming out. Flag flies. Tackle made. And we'll see what this flag is. That was thrown from behind the return.
My depth to set up my block. Well, in preseason and practice, I was able to do that, fairly quickly. I did it in regular season week number 1, and these are like all pro guys coming at you. I got ran over the first time, and I realized it's a different speed come the regular season.
You have to have your head on a swivel.
Much different speed.
Martinez trying to get the screen. Oh, man, the Raiders were all over that. Pair of rookies, Brandon Cleveland, Gary Smith III. That's a tackle for a loss. It's a big broken run there for Herbert all the way. He picked up 16 yards.
Yeah, I was the 3rd quarterback in Minnesota behind Tommy Kramer and Wade Wilson, and the special teams coach at the time was a guy named Tom Badden. He says, "We're going to make you earn your paycheck." I'm like, "Really?" So I did that for a little while, and I was so bad at it that I didn't get it, which was probably a good thing. But I'm going to tell you, you have a different appreciation. We've all been there. You're down on the sidelines during a game, and the violence and how quick things happen. It's just it's a different speed altogether when you get to the regular season.
That's a 1st down run. Harvey finished off the tackle. The hole off the left side was pretty large.
When you could hear the hits from up here,
oh yeah,
it's real.
Well, it's a violent game.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody, right? And I know that there's a lot of times you get into these football games, it's the more physical football team is going. That offensive line's got some nasty guys up front. Linderbaum leading the way.
You mentioned Linderbaum, and he said something to us a couple of weeks ago. We had him in there. He said, are you willing to go longer and harder than your opponent? I mentioned this earlier in the game. I just think that's this play, come together and play as one. and not have a lot of change up front, I think we got a chance to be a pretty good offense.
Martinez on 2nd and 9. Near midfield. Watkins having a heck of a game for the Niners. That is his 4th catch. Up to about 63 yards. That goes for 20. But he has showed up a lot
in the preseason early on. They're really excited about that receiving group, along with Mike Evans as well.
Martinez trying to fire near side. That was deflected. Sailed over the head of Hodge. It'll be 2nd down. I'm
convinced that this team, when it's finally put together next week, it's going to look a little bit different than what we see on paper here, right?
At the moment, the game clock shows 4:21 here in the 4th, and a 2nd and 10 for the Niners. Herbert on the ground, spins out of the first tackle, can't get away from Pegues. And it'll be 3rd down and long here for San Francisco. Yeah, but just to remind people how the waiver wire works, right?
Right.
You know, when you are first on the waiver wire, it does not reset when you pick up someone. They are first for everyone.
Every player.
Right? And it's about to be 1,200 players. Anyone that now obviously they have to then go cut their own players to do that.
Well, there's always a lot of roster changes with teams. And I think we're going to see that here with the Raiders as well.
3rd and 10, they set up the screen. Herbert's got a lot of space and 2 blockers. He's got the 1st down. That's for 12 on 3rd and 10.
It's the perfect call for that defense. You get the defensive line getting up, and they've been penetrating. They've been getting up the field. And so what do you do to slow a defensive line down? Throw a little screen behind it. And that's where you see the big yardage for the 49ers right behind there. There's just nobody out there in the open field, and they create a 1st down.
You know, Clint Kubiak's over on the sideline knowing exactly what his brother's doing on the other side. He's in Robbie Leonard's ear. And they're doing this. It's here McCormick. That's a good stick. Brandon Cleveland. The rookie who turned today 20.
Defense to come here, and then you look at the Arizona defense. The Raiders are able to draft Trayton Stukes and Dalton Johnson. So you kind of look at a school for one player, but another player keeps popping up on the screen.
Raiders need to try and get off the field here. Niners are already in field goal range. It'll be 3rd down and 9 coming up, which will bring us to
with the coaches and the general manager. Everybody's really excited about the work ethic, the passion. This guy loves football, and I think that's really where it starts. He wants to be coached.
He's the best guy for that job at the moment.
Pinheiro from 51 gives the Niners the lead. He is.
Was it offside on Kansas City? This was all on Chris Jones. It will give them an automatic 1st down, the ball at the 4-yard line.
Where he's going to get the ball. Pinheiro with a high kickoff. Perkins under it at the 5, across the 20. And he's hit from behind by Jalen Graham out at the 29-yard line. So down 3, they don't need. Raiders have been sacked a couple times tonight. That is Chris Myrick, the motion man. O'Connell starts with a completion to E.J. Williams. Short gain out to the 34, picked up 5. Rookie out of Indiana. Out at 90 seconds to go in the preseason. With protection again. Looking for Williams again, incomplete.
Tried a double move, it didn't work.
I think just the hurry up on that one. You had the positive play on 1st down.
Now 3rd and 5 for the Raiders. They are 6 of 13 tonight on 3rd down, trying to make it 50. Down the field, John Perkins, and he just overshot him. O'Connell left, but you got to convert. Need to get it across the 39-yard line. Keep this game going. O'Connell has room to run. Needs to get to the 39, and he's not going to get there. Sebastian Valdez with the stop, and the Raiders down. Deadline Sunday. See what the Raiders do and how active they are after that. As a first down give to Herbert, who bounces off, no gain. Kubiak takes his first of 2 timeouts. Maybe get the stop on the kicker, and there was no confidence there. And then 3 games in, they had cut him. That's a different story with
Get out of bounds. Oh,
did not get out of bounds, slid down inbounds, and now Clint Kubiak with 105 does take his final timeout.
Missed short field goals. Then he went out and drafted a guy. Maybe you heard of him, Sebastian Janikowski.
Draw play, Sincere McCormick down at the 35, and the clocks all went off in the building.
Wow.
So they, John Hussey did 6 left on the clock. It is put down. That kick is up, and he stays perfect. And there it is with 7. All right, so how you playing this? If this were the regular season, how you making this kickoff? Remember, if it lands inside the 20, but rolls in, come out to the 20-yard line on the touchback. If you kick it all the way through, you come out to the 35. Remember, Raiders are out of timeouts.
I kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Kick it out of the back of the end zone?
Why? Yeah. Why even have an opportunity to return?
So look at Pinheiro. So his normal kickoffs tonight, he's been 2 yards behind the ball. And here he's lined up a full 5 yards.
You just kick it out of the back of the end zone.
It doesn't get all the way out, but they do take a knee, so it will come out to the 35. No time off the clock. Raiders are out of timeouts. Rich, you looking at maybe Minnesota, transferred to Missouri State. He's much bigger QB. He throws it near side. Okuegbunam does get out of bounds.
All right.
There are 3 seconds left on the